Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another stream. This afternoon we're going to be covering the aftermath of the effects here of Hurricane, now Tropical Storm Debby. We're also going to be talking about a severe weather threat ongoing in the Northeast and back into portions of the upper Midwest. Right now we got Roman on the call.
What's up?
But yeah, so far, Debby has caused hundreds of thousands of power outages for customers here in Florida. Unfortunately, I could not be live for the landfall because it made landfall way earlier than everybody was expecting. But yeah, right now we do currently have over 200,000 customers in Florida without power, over 22,000 customers in Georgia without power, and almost 1,000 customers in South Carolina without power already. By the way, we're still seeing the aftermath here of the Omaha derecho with over 20,000 customers without power in Nebraska. And we're going to be looking just off to the northeast of Nebraska for our big severe weather threat today. We've got ourselves a 5% tornado risk in place here for portions of the Midwest. The Storm Prediction Center has said that they will likely issue a severe thunderstorm watch within the coming minutes here. So we'll watch out for all that. Again, we got ourselves some severe weather to cover in the northeast as well, mainly damaging winds. But we did have a damaging multi-vortex tornado go through Buffalo, New York earlier today that was pretty devastating, actually. We have reports of trees down. There were cars flipped. We have bricks fell off the buildings, apparently. It's pretty bad stuff. So we'll continue to bring you guys relaying information as we have it. We do have a couple of flash flood emergencies right now in Florida, as Debby has just absolutely poured on these counties here right now. Again, right now, Debby being located just off to the northeast of Lake City, the eye of the storm anyway, or what's left of the eye of the storm there. We can see some spots have already received over 15 inches of rain just south of Live Oak, and we're going to see those totals continue to add on here in portions of the Florida Panhandle, southeast Georgia, and then eventually tomorrow portions of South Carolina. So Roman, you got anything for us?
Yeah, I just wanted to start off the stream by saying we actually do have two flash flood emergencies in effect here in portions of northwest Florida. One in effect for central Suwannee County, Florida. So that would be for Live Oak and Wellborn, Florida. And we do have a couple storm chasers out there. They are currently stalled right now because if you actually look at their live stream, they are staring right at a bunch of standing water right there on the road. And by the way, I just wanted to mention, there are a bunch of people driving through this. You should not be driving through this. Even, I don't care what you got going on. You should not be driving through this anyway because it can stall your car out, and then you could do some real bad damage to your car. Also, we have another flash flood emergency, our newest one, issued for the Lake City metro area. County unknown, I don't know, but it's for Lake City, Florida, and White Springs. And that is also very catastrophic. Management reported thunderstorms producing heavy rain across the warned area. Between 8 and 12 inches of rain have fallen. Additional rainfall amounts of 3 to 5 inches are possible in the warned area. Just get to high ground now if you're in both of those flash flood emergencies, or anywhere near the flash flood emergency. Really, just get to high ground now. It's much more saving your life than losing it.
Yeah, look at this, guys. This is Brandon Kopic's feed. We have got a line of cars stalled. This is actually crazy. And this has been going on for the past couple of hours. I've been looking at their feeds off and on, and I mean, this has not stopped. And it's getting worse, right? Because obviously we got that additional rainfall coming in. But look at this. This is a live look at Live Oak, just outside of the city limit. Look at all those cars stalled. I can't bring up the stream for too long, or else I'll get copyrighted probably. Well, I wouldn't get copyrighted, but anyway, look at all these cars stalled, alright? We have got cars getting stranded. There have been reports of cars getting stranded. I mean, you cannot drive into this, guys. That is really, really dumb. These flash flood emergencies typically end up being more deadly than tornado emergencies because people treat tornado emergencies differently. But during flash flood emergencies, people think that they can just continue with their day-to-day lives. You gotta take some precautions here.
For sure. And I also just wanted to mention, I went live for around 3 hours today. And I was also keeping just a really close eye on these flash flood emergencies. And I actually clicked on Corey Gurkin's stream once, and there was a drone footage showing, an apartment complex that looked like flooded. And yeah, if you go to Corey Gurkin's stream, you're looking at that. If it's an apartment complex or a housing district, I don't know, but that place is completely flooded out. It is just horrible what Tropical Storm Debby is doing to these people out here in Northwest Florida. Also, just wanted to mention, there is a ton of power outages. So if you have anybody that you are worried about that's actually in Northwest Florida or in Georgia, Southeast Georgia, down the line, South Carolina, that you are worried about, that, maybe could have power outages and you're worried about them, getting about information to you, just, please send them Davis's stream, because it is way better having a reliable news source like us.
Yeah, for sure. And I just wanted to add on to the talking about the flooding. Reed Timmer actually posted a video of a jewelry store. The inside of the building is completely flooded. Yeah, look at this. Brandon Kopic right now, his feed. We got people having to push the car out of the water. Guys, if you decide to drive into this, you're gonna get stuck. All right, it's just really, really stupid. Please do not do that. Just, find another way to go around. This is one of the worst possible things you could be doing right now. It's just incredibly stupid, and we've even still got some damaging winds coming in. We can see all these bushes and stuff shaking around on the backside of Debby here, so it's just crazy.
It's just dumb. It really is dumb. I know it's a little harsh, but what these people are doing, you should not do at all during a flash flood emergency, or during just any flood, really, that's covering the road. Just don't drive over it, because there's a better chance you could get stalled. Also, I mean, I just wanted to say, for different flash floods, you don't have to worry about your car getting stalled out. I mean, that's the main reason, but you also could hydroplane, and that could even be deadlier than getting your car stalled out, because you could actually crash and hurt people. So I just wanted to say that as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the point where it's not about just not driving, but again, it's best to make sure that you are not sitting on the lowest floor of your building, because there have been several buildings where the inside has been getting completely flooded out on the lowest floor. So please get to a higher ground currently. If you're on like the first floor of a building and there's an upstairs, go up there. I mean, right now, again, this is an extremely dangerous situation here, and things are not going to get better for a while. They're just not. We don't really have any relief in sight, and in fact, some areas out here in the eastern flash flood emergency, in western Baker County right now, we're about to see another band of rainfall, the heaviest band, all right? So this is going to tack on even more to those excessive rainfall totals. Again, we've got a large swath here in Florida where we have over 15 inches of rain that have already fallen. And guys, whenever this gets to the Carolinas, things are expected to be even worse. We are expecting up to 30 inches of rain on the South Carolina and Georgia coasts. So if you're in those areas, you need to prepare right now. It is going to be absolutely devastating. We already have reports of flooding here from Charleston, South Carolina, and this is only the beginning.
I also just wanted to say about that, so it's already made landfall. I mean, Tropical Storm, God, I forgot the name. Tropical Storm Debby has already made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane, but there is actually a very solid chance that this could actually make landfall again as a Category 1 hurricane. I don't think it will. It'll be a very high-end tropical storm, but there is a solid chance that it actually could make landfall again as a Category 1 near the Georgetown area in South Carolina. I just wanted to mention that. Just please, if you're out there, just please, hopefully you're already preparing, because this is going to be a really bad situation for y'all.
Yeah, and by the way, we did just get a new National Hurricane Center update. Remember, flash flooding from freshwater rainfall is not the only thing we have to worry about. We also have to watch out for storm surge, all right? We do have storm surge watches and warnings going out for portions of the South Carolina, even a little bit of the North Carolina coast now, so look out for that. And we are officially expecting, this is like the perfect spot for an indicator, because this would be right at landfall. We're expecting Tropical Storm Debby. As of right now, we are expecting a landfall again in South Carolina on Thursday. We're expecting a east central South Carolina landfall around Thursday at 1 p.m. Now, the details are going to change with that, but right now we're expecting that. We're expecting sustained winds of 60 miles per hour, gusts up to 70. The threshold for a Category 1 hurricane is sustained winds up to 74 miles per hour. So the difference between 60 mile per hour winds and 74 mile per hour winds is really not that big of a difference. So you might as well just treat it like an incoming Category 1 hurricane, because remember, this sucker is going to stall. It's going to create an absolutely absurdly bad flash flooding event, especially in between Savannah, Georgia, and Charleston, South Carolina, it looks like. I mean, it is going to be very, very bad. We already have flood watches and everything in effect, and I'm going to say this right now, and if I'm wrong, then you can take away my weatherman license, but we are going to see more flash flood emergencies, all right? These are not going to be the only ones. These may be the last ones we see in Florida, but down the road, we are going to see more and more of them pop up in South Carolina, maybe even Georgia. So be wary. Again, even if it's not a flash flood emergency, flash flood warnings are still very dangerous here. So yeah, just wanted to quickly point that out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree so much with you. Also, just wanted to say, I mean, this is a cute little neat thing.
The Horseshoe Beach Pelican.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty cute.
Yeah, he was stomping around in the puddle earlier.
He's just, like, still. Someone English or Spanish him for real.
He's a trooper. He's just sitting there in the middle of a tropical storm.
I gotta tell you all this. That bench there on the Horseshoe Beach camera has survived, like, everything. So, the bench is the real trooper here, guys.
Yeah, it's like a dahlia with that shed. You remember that?
I do remember that.
Oh, there's actually another little bird coming onto the camera there. He kind of blends in with the puddle because it's kind of blurry, but...
There's two!
Yeah!
That's funny. Also, I just wanted to point this out as well. We do also have an ongoing severe weather outbreak in central New York, New Hampshire, Vermont. We did actually just we had a tornado touchdown in downtown Buffalo today, somewhere around noontime. Trees were down, a car was flipped, and bricks fell off a building. So, yeah, that's also a really concerning deal there in downtown Buffalo. That's really crazy about a tornado hitting downtown areas. But it does happen. It does happen. There is that myth.
It was also a multi-vortex tornado. I don't know if you've seen the videos of it, but it was multi-vortex.
Wow. But the thing is, thankfully, it was weak. But the thing was, it affected a lot of areas here, and it did cause pretty considerable damage. But if it was any stronger, we would be dealing with a lot more significant things going on there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't condone pre-rating, but if I had to guess, I would say that was probably in the EF1 range. It really was pretty weak. The reason I say that is because, while it was an impressive tornado, when you're in an area that populated, when you have a tornado, you're expecting to see a ton of debris, and there was a little bit of debris in the air, but it really was only like pieces of shingles and stuff and pieces of trees, so it was probably on the weaker side of things.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
But if you know anybody in Buffalo or around Buffalo, just make sure they're doing okay. They're also dealing with a pretty major flooding event. We do have a flash flood warning right now for the north side of Buffalo with confirmed flooding. Several cars apparently were trapped in high water on Delaware Avenue under an overpass, or under an underpass rather. So yeah, apparently we have some pretty dangerous flash flooding ongoing in the Buffalo area as well.
Oh, wow. I have to be right back, Davis. Somebody's calling me.
Okay. We are dealing with what look to be like mini supercells here, mainly along the New York PA state line. We're seeing a lot of these pop up, guys. Like, look at this one. This one doesn't really have too much rotation right now, but I am expecting that to change. You just don't get storms that look like this that don't rotate, you know. And again, we weren't expecting a super high tornado threat for this area, but, you know, we saw the Buffalo tornado, and the Storm Prediction Center does have a 2% tornado threat out still for portions of eastern New York, back into southern Vermont, southern New Hampshire, southern Maine, and northwest Massachusetts there. But again, our greater tornado threat lies back into portions of the upper Midwest here, where we are expecting a few tornadoes to be possible today. I may not be live for this event, guys. I got a lot of stuff going on today, but again, we are expecting a couple of tornadoes back into portions of the Midwest. I will try to be live for as long as I can in that event, but I'm going to be pretty busy this week, which is exactly why I wasn't live for the landfall of Debby, but it's all good. We're going to try to cover things as well as we possibly can here, and if I'm not live, usually Roman will be live, so...
Yeah, I do have to say this. I don't think I will be live for that event either.
Okay, never mind then.
Sorry, my mom's wanting to spend time with me, some personal time, so yeah. But the thing is, this event out here in southern Minnesota and northern Iowa, I would not be surprised if we see a pretty considerable tornado. Or at least one, I would say. But the thing is, there's a lot of things that are prohibiting supercellular development. But the thing was, I looked at the HRRR, and the thing was, there are a couple isolated cells, maybe around like 7 p.m. time or so, in southern Minnesota that could pertain that threat.
Yeah, but I think that this is mainly going to be a damaging wind and large hail event. The lack of wind shear up here is pretty substantial, and also, if we take a look at the cape, it's not zero cape, but let's just go ahead and turn on the surface. That's not cape, okay. Turn on the surface-based cape here, we can see that it's kind of a minimal amount of cape up here, alright? Once you get into central Minnesota, it's almost none at all. Here, we'll go and play it back to right now, right? Once you get into central Minnesota, it is almost zero cape that we have up here, literally, but southern Minnesota does have a decent chunk of cape. We've got some splotches of 3,000 joules per kilogram, but I think in general, if we were to get a tornado, it would be back up closer to northern Iowa, just because even though there's less supercells that we are expecting to develop in this area, the cape values are going to be so much higher. There's no lack of cape up here in northern Iowa. We're seeing some spots get, close to 4,000 joules per kilogram even. So while I don't think that Minnesota has a great tornado threat, I think that Iowa probably does have a good shot at seeing some spin-ups at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, just did want to mention that I did click on one of the soundings there bordering the northern Iowa and southern Minnesota border on my stream earlier, and it did show a really curvy hodo, so we'll just keep an eye on it. Would not be surprised to see maybe a couple brief touchdowns there in northern Iowa, but we'll just see as time plays on.
Yeah, the wind shear, let's go ahead and take a look at that. Let's see. So the bulk shear in the first kilometer here, we can see we actually do have a decent amount of shear, okay? It's more than I thought, alright? But again, the lack of cape is definitely going to create a problem for any storms that do develop. I'd say north of Rochester, I think that they have an extremely low chance of producing a tornado. But at sometimes, we are going to have a decent chunk of cape going through, kind of, again, the Iowa-Minnesota state line. So I guess this isn't as big of a cape issue as I originally thought. It's not as big of a shear issue as I originally thought, but again, the cape is definitely lacking, and that could prohibit some of these storms from popping up like maybe we were expecting.
Yeah, I also just wanted to point this out real quick. If you look at Attica, New York, just east of Buffalo, there is a pretty decent-looking hook echo there, but the thing is, it's not rotating at all. I just wanted to point that out. It's a little neat little thing.
Yeah, we pointed that out while you were gone there. A couple of these storms are developing hook echoes, so we'll watch to see if they rotate at all, but right now they're really not. And by the way, with Tropical Storm Debby right now, we're seeing some DBZ values reach into the 60s. That is not hail, alright? That is extremely torrential downpours. Whenever we see DBZs into the 60s, we're usually talking about large hailstones. But no, this is all rain. So again, we're going to see torrential rainfall just boom, all the way up into the sky here. I mean,
yeah.
it is going to be an absolute massive burst of rain that you're about to get if you are in western, what county was this? This was western Baker County.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts there. You usually never see DBZ values reach 60 or above in tropical storms or hurricanes for the matter, but it does happen, and when it does happen, we're talking about a very catastrophic event ongoing.
Yeah. And I mean, that is some of the heaviest rain you might ever experience if you were to get hit by that. I mean, that's just incredible. Once again, if you're just now tuning in, yeah, if you're just now tuning in, we are watching the remnants of Tropical Storm Debby entering southeastern Georgia right now, and we're also continuing to watch a ongoing severe weather event across portions of New England, and then maybe even a severe weather event that tries to get going back here into portions of the Midwest. So if you are new here, make sure to like and subscribe so that we can help get the word out to the people that need it. Share this stream with anybody that you know that lives in the risk areas today. We are talking about a large area facing a threat of severe weather. We've got over 65 million Americans today facing at least a marginal threat of severe weather. So again, it's going to be pretty extreme here over the next few hours in some spots. So we'll continue to watch this all for you guys as long as we possibly can.
Absolutely.
And
I'm trying to look at any of these storms here if they're rotating. That's what I'm just trying to do right now.
Yeah. Yeah, Kevin, we did touch on that, but again, we kind of discussed that we may have a cape issue. Again, southern Minnesota and northern Iowa, have a good amount of cape, all right? It shouldn't be too much of an issue. But as soon as you get into central Minnesota, the cape drops significantly. We have zero cape in some spots up here in central Minnesota, which again may prohibit some of those storms from becoming too strong, which is why some of the storms we have out here right now, most likely in central Minnesota, aren't becoming too strong. But again, if we see any supercells pop up, maybe along the Minnesota-Iowa state line, we could definitely see a tornado or two, because we do have a decent amount of shear. Overall, this is a decently favorable environment for tornadoes, and again, if one supercell does become discrete enough, I wouldn't even rule out a long tracking tornado, again, somewhere along the Iowa-Minnesota state line, most likely. But in central Minnesota, the tornado threat is very low. I'm surprised they even put the 2% risk into central Minnesota. So, I mean, if you're in like Minneapolis, you may get some wind, maybe a little bit of hail, but again, the tornado threat should be very, very low for that area overall. In fact, NATOcast doesn't even have the 5% tornado risk out, which is interesting because NATOcast is usually more aggressive than the SPC. The SPC went kind of wild with today. They were talking, even yesterday, they had the 5% tornado risk out here for portions of the Midwest. And since then, it's only expanded, so pretty interesting.
I just wanted to note this out here. If you look at Fruit Cove, Florida, just to the southeast, there is an area of rotation. I mean, a lot of areas along, these little storms here popping off are rotating, but the rotation is pretty weak, but it is something to eye.
Yeah, I mean, I really doubt that we're going to see another tornado from Debby until we see it strengthen again, because right now, it's honestly a low-end tropical storm at this point. If we take a look at the newest National Hurricane Center update, we can see it has 50-mile-per-hour sustained winds with gusts up to 65. I really doubt we're going to see a tornado with this until it re-enters the Atlantic, but you got to note the Atlantic's really not that far away, so again, it's really not going to weaken out too much here over land, but I don't think it'll really strengthen at all until it re-enters the Atlantic. And once again, right now it's not producing any tornadoes, and it hasn't for a while, so we do have a tornado watch in effect for the next 50 minutes, but again, the threat overall for tornadoes at this point is relatively low, I'd say, in southern Georgia and northern Florida.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Also, just wanted to note this. In Vestal, New York, there was a pretty decent damaging wind event. There are a few damaging wind reports. I'm reading one here, the tree down on a house in West Corners, New York. We've got wires down from a power line. We've got trees down. Just a lot of stuff's happening over here in Vestal, New York.
Yeah, I mean, that can pretty much be said for all of central New York right now. Again, we got a pretty decent damaging wind event ongoing. And, even the tornado threat has been a little bit hotter than we were originally expecting. Again, we saw that multi-vortex tornado in Buffalo, New York, which was pretty surprising. I'd like to point out, just to the east of Attica, New York, we do have a supercell with a hook echo and some rotation. That may be something to watch out for. Right now, it does have a severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-sized hail, but we have to watch this pretty closely because, again, it's developed a pretty decent hook echo here. It's got some pretty clear inflow, it looks like, to me at least, so we'll watch that. Again, obviously, this environment is somewhat conducive for tornadoes. We know that because we saw that tornado in Buffalo, which is just a little ways away from here, so we'll watch that pretty closely there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good night, everybody. The stream. If you're new to the stream, please subscribe to Davis. Like the stream. If you have anybody out here in the risk area, please share the stream with them, because having a reliable news source is way better than not having one.
Yeah. And again, we do have broad rotation with that storm there that has the hook echo near Attica, New York, but it is kind of weakening out. We'll keep watch of it. Again, it's got a hook echo, so that could be a sign of some sort of inflow going into the storm there. But yeah, I mean, we're mainly just focused on the remnants of Debby right now, and also watching for a potential severe thunderstorm watch to come out within the coming minutes here in portions of the Midwest. We do have a cell going in north central Iowa that may be producing some large hail at this time. It does look pretty concerning just because of the fact that, again, we could see definitely a couple of tornadoes in this area, in this little environment here, so we'll watch that. It seems to be on a barely strengthening trend here. It's in a bit of a radar hole, but that not supercell, but that storm would be near the Forest City area right now in northern Iowa. What's up, Gooseman? So again, if you're just now tuning in, I know we got some folks just now tuning in. We are covering the remnants of Tropical Storm Debby here. We're talking about how it may make a secondary landfall in the coming days here in South Carolina. And we're also talking about the significant flooding threat that would bring. We're also discussing this ongoing northeast severe weather outbreak and another severe weather outbreak that may get going here within the next several hours in portions of the upper Midwest. So if you are new here, please do consider liking and subscribing because we do severe weather coverage all the time, me and Roman. So, yeah, I mean, just make sure to like and subscribe. And again, share this stream with anybody that you may know that's in the risk area today. Again, we got over 60 million people at least facing a marginal threat of severe weather. And again, we've got 3 slight risks. It's not too often that we get 3 slight risks. So whenever we do, we end up watching a lot of areas usually. It gets kind of chaotic to cover multiple spots at once, and that's something we're going to have to do today. So that's one of the reasons that Roman's here to help me, so that we can focus on different storms at once to make sure that we are covering every single base and not leaving any storm unwatched, you know. Looks like Roman's muted right now, but he'll probably be right back, so. Again, got that little cell they're trying to get going in north central Iowa. If we take a look at the Cape, we see that it does exist out here, right? We do have Cape in this area, and that could lead to maybe some strengthening of this storm. Look at this. It's going to be able to take advantage of all this nice, juicy, convective available potential energy. The wind shear out in this area, again, is also enough for us to see severe storms and tornadoes. More than enough, in fact. So, again, it's something to look out for, all right? We've got a pretty serious event about to get ongoing here, I think, in the Midwest. Again, I'm not going to be able to be live for the main part of it, unfortunately, most likely, because I'm pretty busy today, but we are going to be live here for the next couple hours covering it. The significant tornado parameter actually does have a few splotches going up to 1.5 in southern Minnesota right now, and as we go later into this evening, those numbers rise, right? We're seeing significant tornado parameter values in northern Iowa, and a small spot there getting up to 2.7. Which is really interesting there. That's on the newest run of the HRRR at around 6 p.m. Again, I would not be able to be live at that point, unfortunately, but yeah. What's up, Tampa Air? Good to see you. Good to see all you guys that are just now tuning in, again, covering some of the ongoing severe weather. Again, we do have a couple of flash flood emergencies right now with extreme flooding ongoing in portions of the Big Bend of Florida here, and particularly in the communities of Live Oak and Lake City. We have extreme flooding ongoing. I mean, there have been videos of stores being completely flooded out. We've had people get stranded in cars that have been trying to drive through this, guys. Don't do that. Very dumb. Again, if you're under one of these flash flood emergencies, you need to get to higher ground. This is not a normal flash flood warning. These are just as deadly as tornado emergencies sometimes. So please get to higher ground now. It's an extremely dangerous situation. We're expecting catastrophic damage, and we've already seen catastrophic damage. So continue to take your proper precautions there. But, I mean, again, kind of traveling up the southeast coast here, we could see more of that activity going into portions of Georgia and South Carolina very soon, maybe even more extreme.
I'm back. I'm so sorry.
You're good. Yeah, I do think that it'll definitely get, well, I don't think that it'll get worse in Florida than it will in South Carolina. I think South Carolina and Georgia coast will be the hot spot here. Yeah, the 5% tornado risk is really underperforming. Like I said, I really doubt we see any more tornadoes from Debby until it starts to strengthen again. We can see tornadoes with a low-end tropical storm, but it's not too common. And again, that's kind of what we're dealing with right now is a weak tropical storm Debby, all right? It's going to be, I mean, soon it's going to be on its final legs of even being a tropical storm, you know? A tropical storm has to have 39-mile-per-hour sustained winds. They're saying tropical storm Debby, as it leaves Georgia, it'll have 40. So it's just barely going to be considered a tropical storm even. It even could get briefly down to tropical depression strength, but it will re-enter the Atlantic, re-strengthen very quickly, and again, potentially make a high-end tropical storm landfall in South Carolina. It could be a low-end hurricane landfall. It depends on how long it takes to get there, all right? If it spends more time out in the Atlantic, it's going to strengthen more, all right? But right now, we're expecting just a tropical storm landfall, nothing higher. But again, we still have high risks of flash flooding for the next few days, which are extremely rare. And overall, I mean, a lot of our stats right now are just maxed out, as Debby has been kind of off the charts. And even the National Hurricane Center has talked about, and the Weather Prediction Center even has said, that this could be record rainfall for some spots on the South Carolina and Georgia coast, up to 30 inches of rain in some spots.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just nuts to think about. I think, honestly, South Carolina may be the most impacted state. That's hard to say. I mean, you've got 2 flash flood emergencies in Northwest Florida, but it could honestly be the truth.
Yeah. It really could be. Because, again, it's going to stall for so long. Like, if it sits in this position for a while, like in this area, and that's what the National Hurricane Center is saying that it could do. If it sits in this area, that is going to be devastating for the South Carolina coast because they're going to be seeing the outer bands of this, which sometimes pack the heaviest rainfall in the system. And it's going to be all while the system is strengthening because it's still sitting here in the Atlantic. So again, we are going to have a devastating scenario if this really does sit out here for a couple of days like the National Hurricane Center is saying is possible. It's saying that it could spend up to 2 full days, 48 hours in the Atlantic here, which would definitely be enough strengthening time to really ramp up the ante here for the potential impacts in South Carolina, not just with the rainfall, but also storm surge and damaging winds.
Absolutely. I mean, Debby is just taking a toll on everywhere it kind of goes, to be honest.
Yeah. Tampa Air, this app is called Radar Omega, available on iOS and Android. It does cost $8.99, but in my opinion, this is the most capable radar app that you can get on your phone without paying like $3,000, you know? So it's cheap, and this is similar to the things that the professionals use on TV, right? And you can buy subscriptions. I'm using a subscription, but you can get most of these features that I'm using right now without one, right? The subscription is just for extra perks.
Yeah, that's also the app I was using on my stream too, Tampa. I know you were in it for a while.
So if we go ahead and dual box here on the Minnesota storms, we can see that the velocities really aren't looking like anything conducive of rotation right now. But we are seeing some potential damaging winds with this line of storms as it crosses kind of the Rockford area here. It's kind of riding Interstate 94. So we'll see that enter the Minneapolis area soon, again with some heavy rain, lightning, and maybe even some damaging winds. Or at least gusty winds.
I honestly think our central New York and our New Hampshire and Vermont severe weather outbreak will probably start to die down here. I'm not seeing really any crazy rotating thunderstorms, but none of them are. I mean, there's still a damaging wind threat and some hail threat, but I honestly think it's going to be dying down here really soon.
Yeah, Sam, that 5-minute stream was not even meant to exist. That was interesting. By the way, if you look at the Horseshoe Beach cam, the seagull is still just sitting there like a champ.
Is it a seagull or a pelican? I'm pretty sure it's a pelican.
I don't know.
That's a pelican, bro. That's not a seagull.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Wait, okay, Davis, real quick. Explain what the 5-minute stream was. I don't know if I was there or not.
That was a stream that was meant to be like a normal length stream, but I ended up having to go very early on, and it wasn't one of those things where, I could do it later. I had to do it right now, so that ended up being a 5-minute stream. I went live because there was a tornado on the ground, but...
Go take out the trash!
Yeah, there could be a few water spouts off the shore of Georgia. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. And in fact, it's a likely probability. I would say. Look at all these little spots of rotation that keep developing here. So we'll watch for tornadic water spouts to develop and potentially sweep onto shore here. On the Georgia and South Carolina coasts. Definitely a possibility there. I know Savannah was under a tornado warning earlier, but it really wasn't any serious rotation. But yeah.
I just wanted to say this. I know we're giving Debbie all the light like she deserves, but the EPAC is popping off. We're not gonna talk about how there's 4 concurrent storms in the EPAC. That's just nuts.
What is the EPAC? Is that bad that I don't know what that is?
East Pacific, bro.
Oh.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, Mr. Storm and I were discussing that earlier. There's 4 tropical storms right now, almost all in the same area in the eastern Pacific.
I refer to that as the EPAC.
The EPAC. You kids in your fancy language, even though you're older than me. So again, watching some of these storms here along the New York-Pennsylvania state line. Some of them are rotating very broadly, very weakly. I doubt we're going to see any more tornadoes up here today, but it's always a chance. The Storm Prediction Center does still have that 2% probability for parts of New England, which isn't even really where our tornado threat's been the highest today, but... Yeah, not much ongoing for sure in terms of the Northeast event. We want to watch this though on the flash flood emergencies because we are seeing more rainfall fall here in portions of western Baker County in areas that have already gotten, almost a foot of rain. So it's rough. Again, we have some spots that have over 15 inches south of Live Oak, and downtown Live Oak is a mess right now.
As well as Lake City, for the matter. Live Oak, from Storm Total Precip on Radar Omega, Live Oak has already gotten a foot of rain, and Lake City has already gotten over 10 inches of rain as well. So both cities that are very densely populated are experiencing catastrophic flooding right now.
Yeah, and I actually... whenever I went to Florida last year, I stopped at Lake City to get a bite to eat. We explored the town a little bit. It's a nice little town there, and unfortunately, a lot of that stuff is going to get flooded out. So,
did we ever hear about the NWS North Platte situation? I don't think they're ever gonna. I don't think they're ever gonna talk about it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everybody forgot about it.
Yeah. I know some people messed up, but that was like a total screw up.
Yeah,
I don't
really.
know how they didn't. Never mind. You know what I was trying to say.
By the way, we do have some storms in the Chicago area interacting with an outflow boundary, it looks like, that are strengthening quite a bit, so we may hear some rumbles of thunder if you're in the Chicago suburbs in the next several minutes.
Oh yeah, now looking at that, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, let's not go there.
Let's not go there.
So while we're here, we might as well look at some of the models track for Debby. So we'll start off with the GFS. So the GFS here, let's turn on the reflectivity. You know what, while we're here, though, we can talk about these SSTs. This is the reason we're dealing with this, guys. I know it's, generally, we would not be talking about full-blown hurricanes at this time of year, but we are dealing with ridiculously high sea surface temperatures, spots almost at 85 degrees Fahrenheit right now in some of the areas that Debby's traveling around, which is just crazy. It's insane, right? And in the Caribbean, in the Gulf, we've got spots again in the 80s, close to the low 90s at times, which is crazy. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the composite reflectivity here for Debby's next several days. So we can see again right now, it's kind of just off the coast, or starting to move off the coast of Georgia here, but it's in southern Georgia right now. The GFS is kind of saying it'll ride in southeast Georgia for a little bit longer before re-entering the Atlantic, and then the GFS does something really really interesting. It takes it back into southeastern Georgia once again, and then has it just kind of dying off after that, which is a really interesting, or sorry, not dying off, but it has it pushing up to the north here, and eventually becoming basically non-existent, which is a really interesting perspective, and I doubt that would happen. I think the secondary landfall will be further north than Georgia, but the GFS has actually done a relatively good job with this hurricane, better than it usually does anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know about hot tub water temps. I don't think I'd want to sit in a hot tub that's 85 degrees. Would be more like pool temperatures. But yeah, I mean, Roman, it's got to be baking at your house right now. We got spots in Kansas in the hundreds, and heat indexes are back into the hundreds even here where I live in Illinois, and I'm sure that goes for all the Midwest and the Central Plains right now.
It is 95 right now, but tomorrow it's actually no. On Wednesday it's supposed to be 101.
Yeah. Luckily,
tornado warning.
Yep, we should see some heat relief soon. But anyway, tornado warning now in effect. This is going out for St. John's and Duval counties.
Same area. What the heck?
So seek shelter immediately. This tornado warning is going out for the southeast side of Jacksonville. Jacksonville Beach, you're included in that. Ponce Verde Beach, you're included in that. Palm Valley, you're included in that. Obviously, there's not going to be anybody at the beaches right now, but if you are, if you have a house out here and you're in there, just get your safe spot immediately. Lowest floor of a sturdy building in an interior room and away from windows.
Yeah. So, kind of a funny thing that happened here. So I was live today, of course, and I had a tornado warning that literally was in this exact same area for, it looked like the exact same scenario, and in that scenario, you had a little pretty tight couplet in the southern part of the tornado warning, and then the next scan just kills it. So we'll look at this next scan, and if it dies, then we'll know what kind of environment this is in.
Yeah, I think I know which tornado warning you were talking about. Mr. Storm and I were kind of chilling watching some of those.
Yeah. Because it looks pretty tight. I mean, that rotation is pretty tight, but the thing is, if it dies off, it's not going to come back.
Yeah. Yeah, I really doubt this produces a tornado. I think they're doing this to be safe. But yeah. Get to your safe spot immediately.
I wouldn't issue a tornado for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not... I don't think it's going to do anything, though. I mean, if you look, the velocities on the previous scans have been kind of like this. So the fact that they're issuing the tornado warning now is just kind of weird. I mean, it strengthened a little bit, but I really doubt this is going to produce a tornado, honestly. We may see, like, a funnel cloud or something, but just get to your safe spot just in case. Again, right now, if we did somehow have a tornado right now, it would be approaching Hilden and Durbin at the moment. But yeah, we do have one of our little outer bands here managing to act like a little supercell, so look out for that.
Yeah.
You're up to 104 in heat index. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Also, I just wanted to say, I remember we had a whole heat advisory kind of thing. I just got a heat advisory kind of a while back for heat indices of 110.
Yeah, my last heat advisory was like heat index up to 109. Right now, the heat index here is, let me check. I know it said the heat index is going to get up to 105, and all it is a special weather statement. It's interesting the different standards that places have. Yeah, so right now, I can't actually check it, but I believe my heat index is sitting somewhere between 100 and 105 degrees, and out in Mr. Storm's territory, obviously that would be probably an excessive heat warning if we're being realistic, but out here it's not even a heat advisory, and I'm sure that's the same for Roman too.
Storm Chaser 575, there is not tight rotation south of Savannah, Georgia. Just letting you know. I don't know if you're talking about, the potential water spouts off the shore, but there's not anything ongoing near Savannah, Georgia currently. At least that's not what I'm seeing.
I guess the heat index is only 98 right now, but it's going to rise probably a little bit more. Anyway, again, we do have a couple spots of rotation here trying to get going in our tornado-warned area, but it's nothing crazy.
One red area. I don't know where looking at? Are you looking at near Richmond Hill? Are you looking at near Richmond Hill? Because if so, I mean, yeah, it's rotating a little bit, but it's not. I don't think it's going to produce. I don't think you're seeing what we're seeing. Or where are you, like, looking exactly south of Savannah, or are you looking towards Richmond Hill? Because the only area that looks concerning enough to me is near Richmond Hill. Yeah, it's not tight, but there is a little bit of rotation near Richmond Hill, but it's not, like, crazy. That would be the water, then. Yeah, no, there's nothing ongoing here near Savannah. I just wanted to clear that up. There's nothing ongoing here near Savannah.
I see what he's talking about. It's over the Atlantic, but yeah, we could see some water spouts with that. Or at least I think that's what he's talking about. I really don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know if he's talking about on land or on at sea. Is it on land, Storm Chaser, or is it off land? Because if it's off land, I don't think it would have a CC. Yeah, and honestly, I mean, these tornadic water spouts here, I mean, there's a bunch of them, but I don't think we've had really any crazy strong water spouts yet. I think your radar's either bugging out, Storm Chaser 575, or yeah, because there's nothing on the land really near this area.
What? Okay, go ahead. By the way, our rotation is still going there, but it's much weaker in our tornado warning polygon.
It's a little tighter, but it's weaker.
Yeah, I don't think it's getting tighter. I think it's just getting smaller, which makes it look tighter. By the way, flash flood warning now for Savannah. Oh my goodness.
Oh, dang.
This is going to be bad, guys. We already have a flash flood warning. I am telling you, whenever Debby actually gets to Savannah, I can guarantee you right now, and this is an insane thing to say, but I guarantee you that Savannah eventually will at the very least be under a considerable flash flood warning. They already are. Okay, never mind. I'll go ahead and guarantee they'll be under a flash flood emergency. You can quote me on this. We already have almost 5 inches of rain in Savannah, and like that's insane. The system is nowhere near Savannah yet. These are just outer bands.
40 push-ups, if not.
Deal. You didn't even do your 40 push-ups, so.
I did them on stream.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, do you not already have my Twitter? I thought you did.
Is it still rotating Storm Chaser 575? I mean, to you.
So again, if you're just now joining us, we do have a tornado warning now in effect for portions of St. John's and Duval counties. This does not include Jacksonville, but it does include Jacksonville Beach. So if you're in this area, seek shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. This may even be a rain wrap for tornadoes, so don't go out and try to look for this thing. Just seek shelter now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks to me, though, like this rotation in general is on a weakening trend. It's probably not going to do anything.
on our Toro warning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it should fizzle out within the next couple scans, actually, I think.
Yep, and there we go. It's pretty much completely done. I think we can stop worrying about that.
Storm Chaser 575, if you still think there's rotation, please just look at the location or the nearest location where that rotation is, and then we can check it. And is this thing like east of Savannah? There's nowhere east of Savannah. I mean, it's the ocean, but like.
It's fine. It's fine. I believe you. There probably was some weak rotation. Buckhead. Let's check it out. Buckhead, South Carolina or Georgia? Because Buckhead, Georgia is way up near Atlanta.
I don't think there's a Buckhead, South Carolina either. It's on the marsh.
Direct south. Oh, okay. Well, it's fine. This has been a pointless mission.
I also just want to say, still have 2 flash flood emergencies in effect. One for Suwannee County, Florida. That is for Live Oak, and one for Lake City, Florida. Just please get to higher ground now. If you're not having already, please do not drive. If you go on Brandon Coppock's feed, you can pull this up on Stream Davis for a brief second, but yeah, there are still cars driving through this standing water here, which is dumb. You shouldn't do this. Just please don't.
And by the way, look at this. We've also got very gusty winds as well. These branches... This is insane. How are there so many people just driving through here?
Yeah, what could they be doing?
What is so important that they have to drive through this specific road? I know it's kind of a big city, but it's really not even that big of a city.
I believe you, Storm Chaser 575. I believe you. Also, on the Horseshoe Beach camera, star of the show, Mr. Pelican, is still in the exact same spot.
He's just chilling. He's just watching the remnants of Tropical Storm Debby.
Well, it was Storm Surge earlier. Now it's just like nothing.
It's pretty gusty still, though.
Yeah, so you could call it Storm Surge, but like very weak.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really Storm Surge, but...
He's just chilling. You being a good boy. I don't think so. I mean, he hasn't moved for a while.
English or Spanish, Mr. Pelican?
Maybe you got something in your nose.
Where exactly is it located now? So if you're talking about Tropical Storm Debby, right now Tropical Storm Debby is kind of right along the Florida-Georgia state line, west of Jacksonville, near Rockville. This tiny town here, we are seeing a extremely heavy band of rain near the what was the eye of the hurricane, eye of the tropical storm. East of Fairview, extremely torrential downpour. In fact, this did... Well, I guess it's kind of almost like a handoff. It's weird, but we are seeing just band after band after band of torrential rain. Almost looks like hail, but it's just very heavy rain.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, still, we're getting DBZ values up to 58, which is very rare in tropical storms and hurricanes. That is torrential rainfall. Torrential.
It's also... Oh, yeah, it's interesting because you don't normally see numbers in the high 50s because usually rain does not get that heavy almost ever, and whenever you have hail, it's usually over, 58. So it's kind of interesting just to see those pixels at all. And we got a
our tornado warning rotation is starting to wrap up actually pretty immensely near Pontevedra Beach, or Vedri, I don't even know how to say it.
Let's check that out.
Up to the north, it's
yeah, I see that. That's actually pretty interesting. We'll continue to watch that.
They might just extend the tornado warning out for that if that doesn't go away within the next scan.
Yo, let's just stop talking about it. This is turning into a really, really pointless fight. There's no reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, this will be approaching the Jacksonville beach within minutes. It is right along the coast. I mean, it is right there. It's on the beach. So.
Beach nader.
Beach nader.
If a tornado touches down on a beach, is it still a tornado or is it a dust devil? I'm kidding.
Sandnado. I was going to say, by the way, we do have a couple of stronger storms now popping up in northwest Illinois. And by the way, the Chicago storm that we mentioned that interacted with that boundary managed to become strong enough to warrant a special weather statement. We are seeing wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour and penny-sized hail with this storm. Again, that's in portions of the Chicago suburbs. Kind of southwest of Chicago. This is in the Bolingbrook area, Romeoville. We're in the far outer suburbs here of Chicago, so look out for that. That storm's basically stationary. It is moving very slowly to the east, though, it looks like, so we'll continue to watch that. And again, we also have a storm in northwestern Illinois to watch, and I know we've got viewers out here. I know we do, so we'll watch that. It's becoming a little hailstorm. It got some 60 dBz values in there.
Storm Chaser 575, it's there, but it's pretty weak.
With a little baby storm? Okay.
Yeah, it is really tiny. Yeah, but the thing is, I've seen smaller storms today that have had rotation, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, usually in tropical storms and hurricanes, you can even see it with a rain shower. By the way, our tornado-warned area of rotation, at this point, it's kind of in the ocean. I mean, it is literally right along the beach.
It's pretty, an area looks pretty tight to me, but it's right over the ocean.
Yeah, I mean, it's grazing the ocean.
That could actually be a water spout. I don't know. I don't know if it's strong enough to be a water spout yet, but yeah, it could be.
Yeah, I was specifically looking out for you, Alan, because that's definitely an interesting looking storm there. So again, that's going to be approaching Milledgeville and Elkhorn Grove in Illinois. Again, that's a decently strong thunderstorm. It's going to be kind of like a garden variety storm, though. It's not going to be anything too crazy.
We could have a pretty strong water spout currently ongoing just 55 miles to the southeast of Georgetown. It kind of diminished, but it was tighter earlier. But yeah, hopefully you're seeing what I'm seeing there. It's on the southern. It's on the southwestern. Oh my god, I can't talk. It's on the southwesternmost end of those tropical rain showers.
Yeah, there's a few of those out there. It looks like little baby rotations. Yeah, no problem, Alan. Again, we'll continue to eye that storm there, obviously, because while we do want to cover the biggest thing, also, obviously, it's important to cover where we have actual viewers watching, so that's kind of the most important thing, because that's the whole reason we're actually doing this.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions about really anything weather-related and ongoing with you guys or with Tropical Storm Debby, just please drop them down in chat. We are both free to answer.
We do have some strengthening storms now in south central Minnesota as well. A lot of these storms strengthening could be a sign of the environment out here just in general becoming more conducive for severe thunderstorms and just thunderstorms in general. So again, we may see that severe thunderstorm watch get issued within the next few minutes here. Again, the Storm Prediction Center has said that they are going to issue, or they said there was an 80% chance of a watch out in this area, and we've already, the mesoscale for this area is already expired, so it's taking a little bit longer for this to get going than they thought it would, but that doesn't mean it's not going to get going at all. That's important to remember. Just because it's getting going late doesn't mean it's not going to happen at all.
The band over there near Greenville, South Carolina, is that associated with Debby? Hold up, let me check. Greenville, South Carolina. Hold on, I got this data, just let me get it.
Okay. By the way, the storm in Chicago may pack a punch with some gusty winds near Sag Bridge up to 50 miles per hour.
Yeah, I mean, those could be, I think, well, hold on. Yeah, I actually think those are some of the outer band thunderstorms there that are happening there in Greenville, South Carolina. Just the way those storms are set up. Yeah, those are probably outer band thunderstorms.
By the way, Alan, I believe you're under this special weather statement. I don't know exactly where your house is, obviously, but I believe you're under the special weather statement now for 40-mile-an-hour winds and pea-sized hail for this little storm here in northwest Illinois, so we'll continue to watch that. It looks to be on a strengthening trend as well. And again, that is for Whiteside and Carroll counties in Illinois, so... So back to our Jacksonville storm. Again, here along Jacksonville Beach, we may have some sort of water spout going, but at this point, the threat that to actual land now is probably low. Again, obviously, you should already be staying away from the beaches out here because, I mean, you're under a tropical storm warning, but if you're for some reason on the beach, get out of there. We could have a water spout going here over Jacksonville Beach. What does NATOcast show today? NATOcast has a 3% tornado risk out. Let's go and pull that out up here so that we can get the most specific outlook. Oh wow, okay, so on the new NATOcast update, it's actually a 5% in the Midwest, and they did downgrade the Southeast from a 15% to a 10%, or no, they're still a very tiny 15%, but 5% for portions of north central Iowa and south central Minnesota, and again, that's kind of where I'm thinking the greatest tornado threat could be, but the SBC has a much bigger 5% risk. They have the 5% risk going kind of all across portions of the upper Midwest here, so their risk is a little bit bigger. Again, they have portions in northwest Illinois and southwest Wisconsin included in that as well, but I think the greater tornado threat remains to the west before this kind of takes a line formation and elevates the damaging wind threat but lowers the tornado threat. Welcome back, Tampa Air.
Our rotation has diminished with our tornado warning. I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
It's still there, but it's diminished.
By the way, absolute light show going on with our Chicago storm. Lots of little lightning strikes with this, it looks like. Yeah, I think that's probably what's happening too, Kevin. NATOcast does not do well with hurricanes, and that's probably one of the reasons why. But yeah, I mean, look at this. Again, some of our northern Illinois storms are really starting to get going, so we could actually see a severe thunderstorm warning out here sometime within the next several minutes.
Yeah, I mean, crazy amounts of lightning, actually.
Considering it's not that big of a storm, that many lightning strikes is pretty impressive. The one in Chicago. Yeah, this storm interacted with that boundary, and look at this. We're even now scanning a 58-mile-per-hour wind gust on our Chicago storm, and this really could go severe. They could issue a severe thunderstorm warning for this any minute. So if you're out here in kind of the southwestern suburbs of Chicago, I'd look out for this. This is going to be approaching, I mean, it's really not approaching anywhere. It's really stationary, but it's going to be approaching Oak Lawn, Burbank, Orland Park, Palos Hills, Hickory Hills, Chicago Ridge, Sag Bridge, Hastings. That rhymed. But that's where I'd expect a severe thunderstorm warning to come out for if we were to get one. So, if the radio goes off or the TV goes off, don't let it freak you out. Just know that that could be coming in. It's just for a damaging wind threat, most likely. Maybe a small hail threat as well. If we take a look at the vertically integrated liquid, though, we can see that it's overall... Actually, it is a decent signature, but it's still pretty small hail. Okay, Roman.
Dog, I could have just said that. I don't even know why I put that in chat.
By the way, decent hailstorm with our northwest Illinois thunderstorm here. And just some small hail, but still something to watch out for. Again, if you're just now tuning in, we are covering a ongoing severe weather outbreak across portions of the Northeast, the remnants of Tropical Storm Debby and its effects on the Southeast, and also some storms here that are starting to pop up in portions of the Midwest. We have 12 watching now, so I thank you all for joining us here. Apparently we did hit 20 likes on this stream, so thank you guys so much. You guys are the best, and again, hopefully this becomes a real career option for me and Roman one day. Just doing live streams for people. Yeah. Lee County.
W20 likes, thank you. That's amazing, everybody. The support's crazy. And I also did get like 11 likes on my stream as well. So. Oh, I just dropped the rice.
Okay, so yeah, Alan, the Lee County is not included in this special weather statement yet. I do think that this storm, for the most part, should avoid Lee County, but it may clip western Lee County with some small hail and gusty winds. But yeah, 20 likes is crazy. Thank you guys so much. Great to see all you guys here. New faces, old faces. Just good to see everybody. Maybe I shouldn't say old faces, but familiar faces. By the way, the Pelican is still winning the English or Spanish challenge. It is getting gusty in Horseshoe Beach once again. Maybe gusts up to 40 miles an hour there. Look at those waves crashing. The palm tree over here is shaking pretty good. Which, by the way, it's an absolute miracle that it survived Tropical Storm Debby, because it does not look that structurally integral. What would be the proper usage of that word? They'll probably severe warn that Chicago storm. Yeah, we did touch on that again. There was a brief point where we were measuring a 58 mile per hour wind gust close to the surface, and again, that's on this scan, so wait to see the next radar scan, but if it continues to look like that, they'll probably throw a severe thunderstorm warning out for that relatively soon here. The bench. Yes, sir. You guys should have seen it. I don't know if y'all remember Idalia, but there was a camera that had a shed. Idalia was a much more powerful storm than Debby in terms of the wind threat. The shed, it's crazy how it survived. It was basically completely submerged underwater, and it took all that and 150 mile an hour wind gusts, I think, or something close to that anyway, to completely destroy the shed. And it really wasn't even completely destroyed. I mean, it survived so much. Too much, one would say. So W shed, again, that was a high-end Category 3 hurricane, close to Category 4 at that landfall. So the bench surviving a Category 1 high-end is pretty impressive, but the shed is the real winner. So, anyway. Yeah, I think it was too. Yeah, they used like the exact same cameras this time that they did last year, almost exactly a year ago for Idalia, because it's like the exact same spot. Yeah, what's up, everybody? If you're just now tuning in, we are covering severe weather across the United States, as well as the remnants of Tropical Storm Debby. I'm sure everybody that's watching consistently is getting tired of hearing me say that, but I'm just saying that for all the new viewers that are just now joining us. I don't know how much longer we're going to be live for. I'm kind of busy tonight, like I said, but we'll stay live here for at least a little bit.
Yeah, welcome in, new viewers. My name is Roman, and his name is Davis, and we are trying our best to relay some information to you about Tropical Storm Debby, its effects on Florida, and we're going to be live quite a bit for this event, actually. I mean, it's going to make landfall again in South Carolina, and I personally think that landfall might be worse than the Florida landfall, personally.
Yeah, in terms of a flooding rainfall threat, that would be probably much worse. And again, flooding rains are the main concern with this system, so there's a good chance. By the way, guys, I don't want to, talk about this too much, but, and I'm not saying this to rub this in anybody's face or to brag or anything, but I do want to thank you guys so much. We are getting very close to being monetized on this channel so that I can actually do this and make some money. Again, I'm not doing this for the money, but again, it would be a nice benefit and again, maybe a career option one day. So I do want to thank you guys so much for the support recently because you helped us get here. Yeah, I would not be able to do this at all without you, but again, I don't want to talk about that too much, obviously, because it's kind of private and personal, but I just do want to thank you guys a lot for that. That means more than you could ever know.
It really does. It really does. And I also just want to say that my channel has actually been doing really good as well. I don't even know how long ago we hit 100 subs. I mean, it was really recent, and now we're almost at 130 subs on the main channel. Just crazy support from y'all. We love all of y'all. Seriously.
Broad rotation near Guyton, Georgia? But yeah, we definitely do. Let's check out Guyton here. Yeah, so a little bit of broad rotation there. That'd be something to look out for sure. I think it's mainly just going to pose a damaging wind threat, though. Coming at you. Wow. Look out.
Oh.
You subbed to Davis and Roman. W.
Thank you.
Again, this Chicago storm is probably as close as you get to having a severe thunderstorm warning. And it has a special weather statement for 50-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail, and they'll definitely reissue that at least, because that expires in 2 minutes. So I guarantee you they'll reissue that, maybe as a severe thunderstorm warning, but it's looking like right now it'll probably just be a special weather statement, because this storm did kind of weaken in terms of its wind threat on the most recent velocity scan, just a little bit. Still a decently strong storm there, though, so look out for that. Make sure you're getting indoors if you're in kind of the southern Chicago suburbs in general here. We got a few little cells that are trying to pop off. Storms in Minnesota are strengthening with rotation, but it's mostly contamination that may be rotating. Yeah, I really doubt that we'll see a tornado threat again, though, in central Minnesota. I'd say it would be more in southern Minnesota, but some of these ones are kind of entering southern Minnesota, so yeah. I see your concern there. Thank you for pointing that out. And again, I'd also be watching some of these storms that are popping up in northern Iowa. This actually looks pretty strong to me. This is definitely rotation near Stark, Minnesota. That could receive a tornado warning. That's actually pretty strong. We don't have great radar views of it. Not great radar coverage out here, once again. Kind of northern Iowa, southern Minnesota. But there's definitely some rotation there. We can see it from multiple radar sites. So again, look out if you are in the Hanska area. It's definitely rotating at least a little bit there. Yeah, look at that newest scan. Hanska, Searles, New Ulm Mobile Village. Again, there's no immediate danger to life or property, but that could change, so just watch out. What's up, Rodessa74? Again, if you're just now tuning in, we are covering severe weather across portions of the Midwest, the Northeast, and the remnants of Hurricane Debby, now Tropical Storm Debby, down in the Southeast. Again, we do have a rotating thunderstorm that may even produce a tornado later down the line here in central Minnesota. Right now, it looks mostly like a lower chance of it producing a tornado, but it's still some decent rotation to watch out for. So, we'll keep you guys posted.
What's good, Rodessa?
Again, a couple of storms up here in northern Illinois to watch. Kind of popped up a little earlier than we were expecting. The Chicago storm is developing a hook echo, even, it looks like. Yeah, I believe that we've had at least 4 confirmed deaths from Tropical Storm Debby.
And including one 13-year-old, which had a tree fall on them. Incredibly sad. Incredibly sad.
Let's see here. Yeah, so 4 deaths, one 13-year-old. Not too certain on all the others, but yeah, really unfortunate stuff, obviously. Storm is slightly rotating near Frewburg, New York. That's Frewsburg. Frewburg. This must be the area you're talking about. Oh yeah, I do see that. Near Cable Hollow. Some decent rotation to look out for. Nothing too serious, though, at the moment. It doesn't look to be, anyway. We no longer have a tornado warning. I don't know when that expired, but I think it's been a little bit. I just didn't notice. Wow. Look near Stark, Minnesota, Roman. Very strong rotation developing. Not very strong. Not very strong, but relatively strong.
Got me right into my PC.
Just look at that.
Stark, Minnesota, you said?
Yeah. Wow, yeah.
Oh, jeez Louise.
And that's not contamination if you play the past few scans.
Chat, is this real?
I mean, it's not that strong, but it's something to watch out for.
Oh, yeah, I mean... Yeah. Definitely.
Oh, look at this. What is this?
Hello?
Never mind. It looked like we had strong rotation on our Chicago storm, but it's contamination. That is very deceptive contamination. Very deceptive. That almost looked like a strong tornado. That is very deceptive.
Oh, near Lamont?
Yeah.
Yo. Oh, that's hilarious.
And I saw the storm had a hook echo, so again, I was worried, but... Oh, and we do have a tornado warning. Like, I keep saying the colors change, but it doesn't click in my brain that means changes are happening. It's again for Savannah, Georgia, so you guys in Savannah are under another tornado warning, unfortunately. You're getting a drone planning to get footage sent to Roman's Discord. Nice. So, tornado warning in Georgia now, everybody. Rotation near Isle of Hope. It actually was strong near the Skidaway Island. Near the Skibbity Island.
Dog, what?
What? So we could see a tornado with that. So if you're in Savannah, seek shelter again. I gotta change the title again. Guys, we're gonna have to end off the stream soon. I'm warning you right now. Because, again, I'm pretty busy today. But we've been live here for a little bit, actually. And I know Roman's been live for a while as well. But yeah, we've been live for about an hour and a half, almost. An hour and 15 minutes.
That's what I feel like 2 hours and a half.
Again, I'd like to be live for longer, but I can't, unfortunately. I've got band camp. I would much rather be doing this than doing marching band in the 100-degree heat index weather for 2.5 hours, but what can you do?
L.
You're an L, Buster. Buster, buddy. If you're talking about the Chicago cell, yeah, I agree with you. It just freaked me out. But if you're talking about the Georgia cell, that actually could produce a tornado. I assume you're talking about this Chicago cell. But I think the Savannah one could produce, again, it could produce like a water spout or something as well. Or are you talking about the Minnesota cell? We have so many things to watch right now. Whoops, what did I do?
The Iron Man Minnesota one, huh?
What?
Stark.
Oh.
Yo.
I am a trombone, Alan. And it's 5 hours a day, 2.5-hour sessions. At least they have a little bit of sympathy and they don't make us do it all day whenever it's hot in the afternoon. That would have been just way too brutal. We were playing inside this morning, but there's no air conditioning in the band room, so it was basically even worse than doing marching band. And this evening we're doing marching band, so. You mean the tornado orange cell? I don't know. I think that could probably produce. Again, it's a lower chance, but they've just been tornado warning things left, right, and center, so I'm kind of numb at this point, and this seems like one of the more reasonable ones, but it is kind of weakening out, so yeah. You like us better than the news stations because we're not boring? Let's go. What's up, weather with Sim?
Real.
How's it going, Sim?
Good. Weather with Sim. How are you doing today?
I know you've been covering this pretty thoroughly as well, so. But yeah. So, it's kind of hot in this room right now, but. Yeah, we got some rotation on our storm near Stark, Minnesota. Good to see that. Wow, yeah, a lot of rotation on our cell near Stark. Or it's not a cell, but it's a part of the line near Stark, Minnesota. And also near Comfrey, we got some rotation developing. Guys, this could genuinely produce a tornado. Near Searles, Minnesota, this should get a tornado warning. No doubt about it. You would think it's rotation. You would think it's rotation, but it's not. On our Stark storm. The Stark storm.
Iron Man.
Why is the radar loop not playing? The heck? I don't know. That's really weird, though. But yeah, I'd be watching this, guys. This is really looking like some intense rotation here.
I have one question. Is the Pelican still there?
Let's look. You gotta go? Alright, see you later, Sam. Thanks for joining us.
See you later.
Again, we're probably gonna end off soon, too, because I gotta go soon, but... The Pelican is still there.
Dog.
He must have heard us say English or Spanish. Alright, rotation seems to be broadening out, actually, on the Stark Storm, but it's still pretty strong, so we'll watch that.
I think it's endgame for that storm.
Ah ha ha. Keep playing the Iron Man pun.
Oh, so funny.
See ya, Sam.
See ya, Alan. Oh, wait. Oh, my God. I thought Alan was leaving.
Broad rotation, it looks like, on the Chicago storm. Yeah, everybody's leaving. Everybody's saying bye. What's happening?
What?
Yeah, they did rewarn the Chicago storm 10 minutes ago, still for 50-mile-an-hour winds and penny-sized hail and torrential rain now. I don't know if it was torrential rain before, but it is now. And I don't know why they haven't issued a severe thunderstorm watch for the Midwest yet. These storms are getting going. So, I think they definitely should, but they're not for some reason.
Not yet. Also, we probably need to eye some broad rotation near Comfrey. It's weak, but the thing is, it's going to have the chance to start strengthening here in a little bit.
Yeah, I was watching that. Alright, sounds good, Tampa. Just remember, we're probably going to end off pretty soon here. Really haven't had to mess with the warning counter that much because it's been mostly accurate the whole time. I haven't been forgetting. It's just, I'm not going to change it every 5 seconds from 6 warnings to 5 warnings because it keeps bouncing back and forth. But as long as it's within, 3, I'm fine with it. So that's why I haven't been messing with it a ton this stream because I don't want to keep bouncing out of radar. And again, I wish there was a way that I could do it without you guys saying, but it gets annoying really fast, I know, so...
checking on our tour warning here in Savannah.
It's done.
Rotation. Yeah, it's gone.
Again, they've all weakened out really fast.
That storm's cooked.
The storm near Skibbity Island is cooked.
Stop.
Alright.
Oh, no, the Pelican left.
You're kidding.
No, he left.
Oh, he lost the English or Spanish challenge.
Where bro had to go. You stood there for like 2 hours straight.
I know. And his kids were walking up. His kids were walking up, and he's like, not now. Oh, there's birds out there, kind of moving around.
Yeah, there's a few.
Never gonna be the same as the Pelican, though.
Pelican literally was gazing out at the ocean, probably thinking about his life decisions. He was like, look what Debby did to me.
Bro, Brandon Kopic has been in this spot for like 3 hours. I'm not kidding. Like,
well, I don't...
way before stream.
Brandon, I get that you want to do water rescue and stuff, but like, what are you gonna rescue that's already not been rescued? Just turn back around, little bro.
Okay. I can't believe people are just driving through this. I can't believe they're letting people drive through this. Like, why are they not closing that? That is ridiculous. That should be top priority. They've been closing the highways, and I'm glad they have, but, like, why are you not closing that?
Yeah, look, there's been, like, probably hundreds of cars that have driven through this today.
Droven.
Droven.
Droven goes wild. Winnie Bagoo.
Finger Lakes. Now it hurts to laugh.
Alright. Again, the rotation near Comfrey's kind of strong. I imagine it's more broad than we think, though. Because, again, we're pretty far away from the radar, but you can even see, like, a hook shape from here, so interesting stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, this is crazy. Y'all got the stream to 23 likes. Let's go. And so far, we've had 200 people tune in.
I know you've mentioned this so far, but north of Searles and south of New Ulm, Minnesota, there is a tightening rotation.
I don't think it is tightening. I think what's just happening is sometimes whenever it gets weaker, it could be tightening, but I don't know.
We'll see.
We shall see.
In order for Debby to end up the big storm, it has to move into the Atlantic. And the fact they closed some of our barely flooded roads and not these ones are crazy for real.
Yeah.
Help, Florida. I don't know if you noticed this, but the first flash flood emergency has been allowed to expire.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm not sure why they did that. Because we can look at the feeds right now. But
They'll probably issue it.
They should at least reissue a flash flood warning, a considerable one. Maybe not a flash flood emergency anymore, but... Dude, look at this!
Area is contaminated. What?
The flooding is just crazy. I'm just gacking over that. That's insane.
Oh my god, hold on.
What?
My dogs are yapping.
Guys, I think we're going to end off the stream here. So if you guys did enjoy the stream, please do be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you all for tuning in. Roman, you got any final words?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you all so much for the support on the stream. It's been fun so far today covering Tropical Storm Debby and its impacts. It's just been a lot, but we really appreciate all the support we've had on the stream. And yeah, that's just basically it.
Yeah, for sure.